The Connection Show. Inspiring hope, health, healing. Connecting the dots of your story and transforming your life. Sponsored by Brave Heart Workshops. Live with Jill Reynolds.
The Connection Show. Inspiring hope, health, and healing. Sponsored by Brave Heart Workshops. Live with Jill Reynolds. And I am in New York at the ReAwaken American Conference with Clay Clark and General Flynn. And walking into the media room is John Richardson, one of the speakers at this amazing event. John, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. A pleasure to be here.
Well, John, we'd love the audience to get to know you personally. So if you're willing, would you take us on a journey back into little Johnny boy, being born, and tell us a little bit about your childhood, mom and dad, or how you were raised, siblings, and then maybe highlights of grammar school, junior high, high school, and onward.
Sure. Great. Well, that's way back in the beginning, and I used to joke that I was like Steve Martin. I was born a poor black child. That's not really true, but my father was an MD, but at a very young age, I discovered my mother had taken her own life. She was a very strong Christian woman, but she suffered from health problems. And when I was 2.5 years old, I came home from our caretaker's home and found my mother had taken her own life. And she lived a week after that. She was the love of my father's life, but this was a little tragedy that a big tragedy for our family. My dad was a very successful San Francisco Bay Area physician.
So let's pause a moment, because I always like to be like I'm the video recorder and it's a commercial.
Okay.
So that's a big story to start with. So let's pause for just a moment to breathe in life. So as you breathe this in, so you're 2.5 years old, were you the person who found Mom?
Yes.
And may I be is so bold to ask you how had she tried to or committed suicide? How
we were.
What means was it?
She shot herself. She
Okay.
shot herself with one of my father's weapons in the hallway gun cabinet.
So this
locked
little
gun cabinet.
child walks in with a gunshot wound. Your mom, and then the caregiver, I'm assuming, called everybody and whoever. You probably 2.5. It's so.
Yeah, I remember she was in the kitchen calling, bawling, crying. She was the woman that basically raised me after my mother passed away. Oddly enough, to go forward a little bit, I don't know how long our show is, so I probably need to go not too deep, but she lived to be 95, the woman the caretaker who raised me after my mother took her own life, and she just passed away in December of last year, and her funeral, oddly enough, was on January 6th, and everybody in the political arena around here knows what that means. We're not talking politics, but her funeral happened to be January 6th, and I was scheduled otherwise to be in Washington, D.C., but instead I went to the funeral.
Wow.
So that's the end of that story.
Wow. So when Mom lived about a week, you said, so there must have been, you said she didn't die instantly?
No, my dad was a physician. He rushed home from his, it was in the middle of the morning. He rushed home from his practice, and ambulances and everything showed up, and she was taken out and taken to the hospital, and she lived another week after that, maybe a week or 10 days after she had shot herself, and her brain started out, it was a possibility she could come out of it, and then 6 or 7 days in, her brain just basically flatlined. And
so what happened to your dad after that?
My dad,
with
depression and
just
things like that.
everything.
Well,
yeah.
the thing was, my mom was ill for a while before that. I think she was a beauty queen in upstate New York. Oddly enough, my dad went to school at University of Rochester Medical School right here in Rochester, New York. I met my mom when he was an undergraduate, and so she was the love of his life, and she didn't handle early 40s as well as somebody might, because she smoked. In those days, smoking was healthy for you. Wasn't really, but that's what they thought. And she didn't eat well. She probably stopped, eating like she should, because she was worried about how her body looked and things like that. So
Some eating disorder, body image issues.
Yes,
That would probably, because I myself have recovered for like 7 years with eating disorders, and that brings on so much PTSD, and the body image issues just can lead to so much suicide ideation.
Yep. So I was too young to know all the ins and outs. A lot of this is conjecture or information I've received from other, because I had 3 brothers and sisters that were older than me at the time, so they all had different stages. My brother, who was immediately older than me, never recovered from this, and actually he passed away about 14 years ago, early, from a stroke, all related, I believe, to this tragic thing. I was too young to really take it in. And
how old was your brother?
My brother was 5.5.
And that's so tough.
That is the worst age, they say.
They're so connected to mommy.
Exactly, yeah. He immediately regressed, and I think he started having to wear diapers again, and basically regressing. So suicide is not just as people know, it's not just somebody choosing their own problem. They're putting that problem on everybody around them that loves them. It's a selfish act, really, and I hate to say that, but it's a selfish act. It's not magnanimous. It's really a horrible thing. But I'm not mad at my mother. After this many years, obviously, I wish I could have helped her, got to know her better.
Yeah.
What I know of her is 2 or 3 incidences, but it really did. Set me up to. I've been independent, but the mother that took care of me was a black lady who I loved like my own mother, and she taught me tolerance and the Christian church, and I'd go to Baptist church with her, and she was in the choir, and I'd sit up in the front row and didn't know racial division at all.
Now, didn't Dad remarry?
Dad did remarry.
How old were you when Dad remarried?
Dad remarried. Probably I was maybe, let me think, about 5. So it was about, I'd say it was about 2.5 years. He was a very successful physician, very handsome physician, and so a lot of women came out of the woodwork. We used to, for a while, he was cooked dinners all the time and giving gifts constantly and everything. And so he was courted by lots of women. And
so your stepmom, was she with him till your dad passed then, or did they stay married?
Well, you are getting deep. I like that.
Yeah.
My stepmom was very young. I think she was 20 years old when she married my father, who was in his early 40s, and she had had a crush on my dad since she was very young. Her mother was actually one of my dad's patients. Well, I'm getting deep here. I don't think I've ever told this story anywhere, but you asked the question. So she had a crush on him when he didn't remember it, but she put a love note into his doctor's bag, because he used to do house calls in those days.
The 28-year-old or her mother?
Her mother.
The woman your dad married's mother had a crush on your dad too.
No. The young, she was a little girl, like she was 12 when my dad first met her. He was happily married, and he had no idea this little girl had a crush on him. But she remembers.
And she was 12 years old when she put the note in your dad, not knowing she would marry him at 20.
Exactly. Well, she is still a beautiful woman. She's an extremely beautiful woman, and I love her to this day. Though it was scandalous, a 42-year-old doctor marrying a young woman at the time, but she ended up having 2 children with my father, and my younger brother and sister, best friends to this day. But
the marriage didn't last? That
marriage did not last because of circumstances in life.
Well, usually when the 28-year-old becomes... the 40-year-old man gets a little older. They want some. It never ever balances out.
Hopefully, Mama Julie, if you see this, probably won't. But anyway,
it never balances.
That was it. My dad had open heart surgery, and then it was on these drugs that cause
all kinds of stuff.
Cause things to happen.
Yep, I get it. You
were right when I was going to be opening it up here.
So Dad went in another direction. Did he marry again?
No, he didn't. No,
so he stayed single till passing.
I think Mom went another direction. Dad never went another direction. He stayed single till passing.
So you called Julie Mom then? Because,
Julie. Yeah, she was because I was 2.5, so I called her Mom. And she's still alive. She's in her 70s, beautiful as ever.
She loves you dearly.
She loves me, yeah. She loves me, and she loves my kids, and we're basically family.
So caregiver, what was her name?
Well, Alberta Miller was the caregiver who lived to be 95.
The black lady.
The black lady, yeah.
And so she was like a second mama, like a grandma.
Yeah.
And then we had Julie as your stepmom,
Yep.
who became mama.
Yeah, so I had lots of moms,
Wow.
and I've never felt like a person that didn't have a mother. I've always felt I had mother figures, and I had an older sister who was also a mother figure to me as well. So I don't have any complaints about that, but a lot of people could have serious mental issues from having a mother take her own life that young.
Yeah. So on that point, then, do you recall getting into? And I always, because this is what I did. So I mean, I could tell stories just because I know my own.
Right.
Junior high, high school, college. Then, did you have your own episodes of acting out because of losses, like getting involved? I mean, I don't know your age. I'm 68, so I'm a child of the 70s. Did you get involved in the drug scene, the drinking, the partying, and because a lot of times we act out. We just do.
Yeah, it's interesting, and I'm happy to answer that question. I can say, because of my father's strong Christian, strong moral, a very upstanding human being, he led not with an iron fist, but a loving. He was always made sure we were loved, and always had dinner at the table. He gave us guidelines. I never did drugs. I still to this day don't do drugs, but I can't say I don't drink alcohol. I drank alcohol. I was in a fraternity in college, but I never felt I abused it or acted out or was covering up shame or anything that happened from my childhood.
It wasn't needed
to
drown out your sorrows.
No, I'd say if anything, I've kind of always been not a rule follower, a rule breaker type. If someone tells me I can't do something, I kind of want to do it, but never. And drugs just never was a thing that I wanted to do. And I was raised by a father that told me why. And so I was 64. I was born in 64, and grew through everybody in high school did smoke pot, and I grew in an area of smoking pot. But it was something I didn't do. I was a good student. I was an athlete. I was a student council president. I'm not trying to say I was an angel by any stretch of the imagination. I had my my moments as a teenager, and actually, got in like verbal disagreements with my stepmom, and there was drama around that and things like that I created. But in general, I look back at my childhood, and I had a wonderful childhood. I can't complain about it or say that I didn't grow up well. So no, I didn't do that. But
now, when did Jesus come into your heart as your personal Savior? Because you said God raised you guys as Christians,
yes,
but we have to make our own choices.
Yeah, we
too.
do. Yeah, I have always known. I would say I've always known my entire life. I don't recall a time where it was something that I had to choose to let Jesus in, and I don't know how that sounds to the audience. But now in my life in the last 7 years, I know the presence of God without any doubt I know God exists. I know God created us. I know this world was created for us, and we're all special. And so I know that without a shadow of a doubt. I can't pick a day where I say where I switched from one thing to the other. My dad was always a great example. We listened to Bob Thien Bible doctrine from the time I could understand words.
Have you been baptized yet as a Christian?
Yes, I was baptized as a Christian as a young man in a church in Orinda, California. And I don't know the specific date because I was probably 6 or 7 years old.
Yeah. But you remember making a decision, I want to get baptized in the Spirit.
Well, yes, I do. I do remember making that decision, and I choose God every day. And I go to church on Sunday. I'm still a person that, like I said, I'm a sinner, but I go to church on Sunday, and I make it a priority to go.
And how about your personal life of relationships? Are you single, divorced, married, widowed?
Well, that's I was married for 17 years, and my 5 children were born to the same woman, and I planned on being married my whole life. I got married when I was, 1991. I would have been 27, and had 5 beautiful children. I love them all dearly, but my ex got into substance abuse, and she I would just say she became a wine drinker and fell in love with wine and alcohol more than her family. And so she, after putting her in rehab several times, finally in year 17 of our marriage, we had our final son together, who was born with fetal alcohol syndrome. and I put her in rehab while she was pregnant with him. And then, and again, I don't mention her name or don't want to put her down because I have nothing but, I don't have any ill will towards her. It is what it is. And so I put her into rehab after our final son was born, and she met someone there. And when I went to visit her, she said she wanted to date other people, and that
didn't want to be married anymore.
Didn't want to be married anymore.
Is she clean now, or?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't.
I've got 41 years of recovery, and
congratulations. That's
thank
amazing.
you. I've sponsored over 50 women in recovery, and I really believe that recovery is a choice. If you make a decision to invite God into your life, and you put Jesus first, you can be healed. And I've lost many friends. 3 of my best friends, in life have died as a result.
Died, okay.
One being murdered.
When you say lost, I didn't know if you meant, okay, wow. That's
lost, yeah, one being murdered. And so I've seen a lot with addictions.
Yeah.
And my brother-in-law, I actually found, like you, I found my brother-in-law dead on the floor at 36 of cirrhosis. So it's a deadly disease, but there is hope if you have God in your life. Mm-hmm. If you do not have God in your life and you try to do it on your own will is what caused the disease to start with.
Yeah.
So if you had such great willpower, you would have never picked up the first drink.
Yeah.
So willpower will not get you clean. God will get you clean.
No, I'm 100% supporter of that, and I tried for 7 years to rekindle the relationship with my ex. Try to do things, and I don't need to describe all that, but
I'm going to tell you something though, and for the audience to hear, John, is deadlier than alcoholism or drug addiction is codependency. Yeah. Codependency, the family members trying to save the family members, is usually a deadlier disease than the disease itself because we're so ingrained in trying to fix, and that through that we just lose ourselves. Yeah. And so we're sitting there desperately like that hamster going like this. And no matter how hard we try, it just makes us sicker and sicker. So, when you finally get to a place as a codependent to just say, I can't, God, you can, I'm giving her to you. I can't do anymore.
Right. I did reach that point. And I forgot to say, because I like to defend her in this way, that we did. Our third child was an autistic boy, and her whole life went into trying to take care of this young man who needed to go to the doctor's office he had CP and autism, and she had to go to the doctor 2 to 3 times a week, therapy, and so and something like 86% of marriages that have a special needs child end up breaking up for one reason or another.
And what a lot of people don't know, and you'll probably laugh on this because this is my husband's story too, is after raising a special needs child and the spouse who has to care for him all day, like the wife, and then they get pregnant yet again, they get really pissed off that they just got pregnant again. He's laughing because he knows. They get really angry because they're like, why did this happen yet again?
Well, that is also interesting, and I have every trait that's ever been happened to every person, but we were on birth control. I say for 7 years, and she got off birth control, and we continued to have relations, and finally got pregnant with our daughter Faith, and we called her Faith because we didn't have faith that she could get pregnant again. We thought she could never get pregnant again and we had faith. And that, yes, you're right. It put pressure on us, and that was the pressure. And then
another one.
No, the fifth child was Jason, which was my son who was born with fetal alcohol syndrome, and that's when the marriage basically it fell apart because of the rehab.
I tell you, we get deep here.
Yes, yeah. Like
True
I said,
confessions.
I've never said it. Usually, when I tell people this story, they're like, "How fast can I get away from this guy? This guy seems like he's no." I have had a lot of challenges in my life, as has everybody. But I take it as a badge of courage, and I love my kids. I love every one of them, and they're fantastic. And I don't have any animosity even to my kid's mother because she gave me them. We don't have a relationship at all, just simply because I can't. You're exactly what you said. I actually took her to a I don't want to say like a mental institute because she was going through so many problems. I actually stopped my life and went and took her when she was dating another man. I took her to the hospital and checked her and all that kind of stuff. I was still trying to, but it didn't change anything. She whatever she's going through now. My kids have all stayed with me, not because I forced them to, but it's because they saw what happened to mom. And she just has a disease, and that's alcoholism and drug addiction.
Yeah.
And she can't break free from it. And whatever it's related to, whatever. Maybe I'm part of the reason. Maybe the autistic.
Well,
son,
the more
maybe
you
whatever.
let go of it, the better chances she has of healing.
Right.
The more you just let her hit her bottom, you just have to.
Yep.
So now, John, all this has gone on in your life. Have you found another person in your life, or are you still? Should we put you on Christian Mingle?
No, yeah, it does. Oh, gosh, believe it or not, I think I have found the love of my life. I believe I have, and I said think. I'm convinced of it, and God has had a major power in it. I met her at a Clay Clark event in the media room in February, on February 15th. February 15th, February 18th, somewhere in that neighborhood. She was working for a network called American Media Periscope, and she was scouting for talent. And I saw her and fell in love instantly. And
so you've been with her since February?
Since February. She's here now. She's running around. She's an amazing woman, intelligent, good human being.
Are you geographically compatible?
Oh, well, not at all. That's the interesting thing. So it can't end that way. It couldn't end just so wonderfully.
Oh, come on. It's got to be a
2,000 miles apart. We met in Ohio.
Is she willing to move towards you, or that's important?
That is important. We don't. Yeah. We're working on that right now, and both of us we travel. We have businesses. She's in an amazing career that ties in directly with mine. We're not talking careers here, but it ties directly in. We're so compatible that it doesn't really matter. We use FaceTime. We meet up. Probably about half the time we're together. Either I'm in Tampa with her, or she's in Scottsdale or Northern California with me. And then we come to these Clay Clark events, which is going to ruin our relationship when he cancels.
I know. We got to figure this out. We'll see. I'm thinking the Lord's might saying we should start Hope, Health, and Healing conferences.
I agree. And then
then instead of talking politics, we can talk about these kind of cool stories.
Right. This is great. I feel energized, actually. I mean, this has gone. I mean, who doesn't like talking about themselves? But it's a great love story because we are so compatible. I've never met another woman that is beautiful and is intelligent and is compatible with me. And I told her today, I said, I just feel like the luckiest man. And I feel it's almost like I'm going to wake up from a dream, but I'm staying in it. And she tells me the same thing. So
that's amazing. So now, because I don't really know, now I know your life story here, but I don't know what you do.
Yeah.
So what brings you to the ReAwaken conference? You're a speaker here. What is your, and we're just going to go small, your topic that you speak on?
Natural answers for, I can use the word C word, cancer. Natural answer for the C word. People discovering it because it's always been there. People discovering it now because they've learned they've been lied to about other things.
And how are you trained in that? Are you yourself a doctor?
No, my dad was an MD.
Right.
My dad was an MD. I would call myself more of a businessman who's allowed this natural treatment to come back around to where people now discover it. And they learn about it, but they are surprised because they heard it was not fake or whatever. So that's what I do, and that's what my when I wake up in the morning is just to let one more person know that cancer is not a death sentence; it's a life sentence.
So what is your like if you hadn't been at Clay Clark's event? What was your career? Like, what's your job?
My job is I own a company that sells nutritional products.
Okay, see, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I know. That's good. I'm glad.
And what's it called?
It's called rncstore.com.
RNC Store, so it's organic, natural products?
Well, it's nutritional products based on the apricot seed, which is what my dad used in his practice in the 70s and cured thousands of patients with it. And it was demonized by the FDA and the medical establishment to the point where my dad lost his career, lost his license, lost his life.
Because pharmaceutical couldn't make any money, and if it's natural.
Exactly. And so
if it costs $5,000 or $10,000 for the drug, but only 50 cents for the apricot seed.
Exactly.
You don't make it, you can't claim it has any significance.
Right. Well, Ty and Charlene Bollinger, some people out in your audience have probably heard of Truth About Cancer, and their whole thing is truth, just truth about cancer. Let's demystify it and find out what it is. They started that whole organization over the apricot seed.
Okay. And so this is your business in California?
Yes, yeah. That's
or Arizona?
Well, it's both California. The apricots are grown in Northern California, and the business itself, where I ship out of and receive and process is in Arizona.
It's Arizona.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds really good.
Yeah.
Well, that's perfect. So people can reach out to you. Your website is, I'm assuming, rncstore.com?
Yes, yeah.
R is in Robert, N is in Nancy, C is in Charles.com, and we'll put that on the site.
Thank you.
So
I appreciate
people
that.
can
Yeah,
find
because
you.
it really is a mission, and I tell people all the time, you don't need to get from me. Just know what the nutritional substance is and get it into your own diet. You can do it by changing what you eat.
So you don't have to have cancer to be on this. This is something to be just
absolutely
keep
not. It's
your
not
body.
a drug. It's a natural vitamin that at the turn of the century we all ate a lot of, that is completely cooked out of our diet now. So,
Okay.
so I just tell people, learn about it so you know what foods to eat so you can have in your diet. You don't need me.
Yeah.
And that's my mission. I want to make it just the same as vitamin C. That's what I want to do.
Awesome. Well, thanks. It's been so much fun getting to know you.
thank you.
And I know, the Connection Show does go a little bit deeper than people are used to, but you hung in there with me, and I'm grateful to get to know you better.
Thank you. It was wonderful meeting you as well. So.
Well, thanks
Thank you.
everyone for joining us on the Connection Show, inspiring hope, health, and healing. Bless you. Well, that was amazing to have John on our show. And, my heart goes out to his vulnerability and the pain that he went through as a little boy growing up after his mom committed suicide. So I'd like to share his bio so you know how to get a hold of him at the rncstore.com with these amazing products that his dad has discovered years ago, and now the Connection Show has taken over doing this. This is the packet that he was handing out at the apricot seeds here. So you can get some. They just, I've tried them. They are bitter, but you know what? Who cares if it can prevent or offset cancer? And I had the endometrial cancer. So anyway, you know how to reach out. So thanks so much for joining us today on the Connection Show, inspiring hope, health, and healing. And for women out there who would love an opportunity, just to have more increased health, nothing's better than vitamin D in the sand. So join us in Aruba at the Women's Getaway, October 26th to November 1st. We have limited room available. It's at this amazing Airbnb, so there is a couple of spots left. So please register now, and I'm going to play the commercial of that, and then from there play a commercial regarding these mental wellness products that I think that will really inspire you as well. So thanks again for joining us. Bye now.
Join us for the hope, health, healing, ARUBA Woman's Getaway. October 26th to November 1st, 2022. Are you overworked? Feeling stressed out or exhausted? Is it time to spoil yourself? Relax and breathe in life. At a beautiful private villa in Aruba for 6 nights and 7 days. Renew your mind and body. Discover greater self-awareness. Joining in connection, wellness, stillness, enhancing your inner peace. And reboot you. Experience amazing beaches. Enjoy snorkeling. Area attractions. Shopping till you drop. Beachfront dining. Imagine releasing anxiety, reconnecting with self, restoring your soul. Bring your friends and savor delicious home-cooked meals. Create lasting memories. Join us now. Register today. Book your flights to Aruba for a getaway October 26th to November 1st, 2022. Register by going to braveheartworkshops.com. That's braveheartworkshops.com. We'll see you in Aruba.
AMARE Global is the mental wellness company. In 2018, AMARE won the Nutra Award for the world's first award-winning gut-brain axis nutrition system for their flagship product, the Fundamentals Pack, clinically proven to increase good bacteria in the gut and incredible benefits. AMARE means love, and there is love in every bottle. Mental health matters, and AMARE is the mental wellness company. Prepare your body's gut microbiome for optimized mental wellness with a reboot and get yourself back to feeling joyful and motivated with mood. Round out your daily nutrition with GBX food systems. Crush your daily to-do list each day with Edge. Support your digestion and immune system with digestive, probiotics, omega, and Vita GBX supplements. Fuel your mental edge with our Mental Fitness Pack. Feel like your best self with the Happy Hormone Pack. Unlock your brain's potential with happy neurons with the Happy Mind Pack. And combine these products for an ultimate day with the Happy Juice Pack. For weight loss and energy, order the Transformational Pack. Our Kids Pack is the first comprehensive mental wellness pack for kids and teens. For a complete mind and body nutrition system, get your kids these today. Begin your wellness journey with AMARE Starter Pack and save. Start with the Entrepreneur Pack if you're serious about making an impact on your mental, physical, and financial wellness. Launch your AMARE business with all our top products, packs, offers, and save. Help others achieve overall wellness too and gain financial wellness. Become a mental wellness partner today. Shop now and save. Sign up today by going to our website listed on this page. Thanks for joining us today on The Connection Show, where we bring you stories that will transform your life. The Connection Show would appreciate your support. Please go to either our Patreon page or our PayPal Me Now link today. We love our podcast show guests and appreciate our listeners and YouTube subscribers. Please go to our YouTube channel called The Connection Show and Braveheart Workshops and subscribe now. Remember to click the gray bell in the All tab so you don't miss any upcoming episodes.